to next nectar.
Okay, this time we're doing an app to look and see how many mites we have in our colonies. It's a pretty cool little app. You do pictures and then send it off. They run some artificial intelligence and machine learning against it to tell you a total mite count. We'll see how well that works. We got some results back, and then which kind of hit and miss, but you'll see that later in the video. And then also we got a new tool that's used for thermal imaging, and we can use that in the winter to check the health of the hives, right? So when they cluster up in the winter, we should be able to get a heat signature from them and see how well they're doing. On this video, we're looking at Verroa mites and a new app that we're using that helps in the detection of mites. The way the app works, you take pictures of the frames and it uses those pictures to then look for Verroa mites. The pictures are then uploaded and the computers use artificial intelligence and machine learning to review the pictures and look for visible mites. Mites can be underneath the bees, which don't show up on the pictures, but they could be using that in their algorithm to say that a certain amount of visible mites also indicate mites that are not visible. It's a good way to look and see how their technology aligns with real-world applications. If you're able to use this, then you wouldn't have to kill so many bees when you're doing your mite treatments. What happens is you do your mite treatments, but before and after, you should be doing a mite count, which kills probably about 300 bees or so every time you do it. These are just a few examples of what I uploaded using the app. You take pictures, upload them, and then they do their analysis. I have gotten some positives back from the application, but you can see that they're false positives. They'll be coming up in a few seconds. And then also you'll see that while the app did register false positives, I think it missed a few that were actual mites on there. Here's a screenshot of the app and the different hives, and then also you can see here are the false positives coming back labeled as Verroa. And of course, looking at this one, you can see just below where they indicated, so it could be that it's just a mislabel. Here's one of the pictures I sent in, and if you zoom in on it, you can see that there's possible mites here. And in this picture, again zooming in, the same picture, same hive, same frame. And that little spot there looks like it's a Verroa. And on this hive, I can see how well treatments work, as well as how I'm doing the treatment before I get out to the apiary, and it's a bit harder to get materials in and out. So here's part of my learning experience. Try to be as gentle with the hive as I can, not using some of the supplies I have on hand, and thinking that I could just get the bees out individually, get them off the frames to be less disruptive, but instead it just makes a mess of it. So finally I go back. I do get some of the tools that I have on hand, which will help out with getting the bees out of the honey super and get them down into the brood chamber for treatment. Since I am using an acid, you should take honey supers off that will even have the smallest chance of being consumed by humans, so that way there isn't any contamination. So on this part, I'm driving them down, and you can see using the honey robber that they do come flooding out of the front of the hive. At that point, I'll take off the honey robber and then take off the super as well, the honey super, and then be ready for treatment. And here then we'll smoke the bees to get them to go back in the hive, and then once they're in there, we'll insert the vaporizer, get it hooked up to the battery, get something to seal the hive up, and then do the treatment. The treatment lasts about 10 minutes, and during that time, only a few minutes the vaporizer is used to heat it up, and then the remaining of the time is just letting the acid settle on the comb. And the way I'll do the treatment is one treatment every week for 3 weeks. There's different methodologies, but that's the one I've chosen to do this year, and we'll see how well it works. I don't have video of treating the other hives, but maybe I'll pick that up in another video. I pulled out the bottom board to look for mites after the treatment, and here you can see at least one mite killed during the treatment process. I know that was just a brief overview, but if you'd like to see more, let me know in the comments, and I'll be happy to provide future information on mite treatments and also the inspection process. Alright, so we got a new tool. It's a infrared imaging device, the FLIR 1. I can use it to look at the health of the hives based off the heat signature. This will mainly be an advantage during the winter months when you shouldn't be opening the hives when it's below 60 degrees. And as I go down the row of hives, you can see that the middle hive is the one that I'm most concerned about. Its heat signature doesn't register quite as well as the other ones. These ones on the outside are fully developed, got tons of bees in them, but this one here is a little bit concerning as we go into the winter and there's not a lot of activity or a lot of bees. As you see as we move on, a composite view of the video showing thermal and also through the camera, you can see the number of bees just hanging around on the outside of the hive even. And that's it for now. As you can see on this last picture, the goldenrod is out a little bit early this year.
See you next time on Nick's Nectar.
Very good. And also somebody lost a tooth. Somebody ate a tooth. You ate your tooth. All right. Well done.